Hey, what's up everybody? In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to do the viral zoom in, zoom out transition in Premiere Pro. Now, this is a transition you may have seen in social media or other YouTube videos. And today I'm going to show you how easy it is to not only set up this transition, but in a later video, I'm going to show you how you can transfer this setup to do other transitions within Premiere Pro. So let's go ahead and get started to show you how I made this effect. So we're going to go ahead and start with a sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my houses sequence, and I'm going to drag that down to the new layer button, which is going to give me a brand new sequence. Now we're looking for roughly about 7-second clips on each end. When I have that clip, I'm going to just make sure that I trim it down appropriately to that 7 seconds. Let's add the ocean above clip and let's do the same exact element. So now we have 2 clips and we'll take that to around 14. And the timing here is really dependent on your clips. This is just something for demo sake I want to show you. Here we also have an empty audio track. So just for cleanup, we're going to go ahead and right click, unlink, highlight that empty track and hit delete. For this, we really only need to focus on the different video track channels. We're going to use V1, V2, and V3. If you don't have a V3, you can always right click and add track to ensure that you have those elements. Now that we have all of these elements in play, and we relatively have 2 clips that transition, the idea here is I'm going to try to continuously zoom in and then zoom out with these clips. Now, there's a lot of different ways we can do this, but the major way is we're going to focus on the adjustment layer. Now, the adjustment layer is a great effect, and we're going to be setting some keyframes as well. And there's a little bit of a science to this to kind of set up our clips. So that's what we're going to start with today and really just dive in and play around with. So the first clip you're going to see on the old video, if we hop back real quick, is we have a kind of zoom in effect. And there's a little bit of scaling and whatnot. Let's talk about how we kind of did that zoom in, because we don't need to do too much to that first adjustment layer. Go back to that adjustment layer and hit drop. And for this adjustment layer, I actually need it to be only 2 seconds. So I'm going to type 5 seconds here in my frame as well. And we're going to go to 7 and we're going to split this clip. So this is going to be our singular adjustment layer. Now, typically this effect works well with either a 2-second adjustment layer or a 1-second adjustment layer. I'm going to hold my Alt or Option key down with this selected, and I'm going to just drag over to duplicate that before I get too intense. And I just want to make sure both adjustment layers over both clips are equal in time and space. So what do we do with this first clip? Well, we're going to go ahead and add what's called a transform. And transform can be found in Effect, and you can just type the words transform, and you'll find the transform function. I'm going to drop that transform function onto this adjustment layer, and then we're going to go over to our effects and controls, which they're going to be on different places depending on what editing menu you have. Just be aware of that. But we're going to scroll all the way down. And what we really want to focus on is the scale. So we want this to continue to zoom in, but we want to make the rate of the zoom in a lot faster. And we're going to go back to the very first part of this clip and set a keyframe for scale. So once I do that, and let's make our window just a little bigger here. There we go, so you can see. I'm going to click the keyframe for scale, and I'm going to go almost to the end. I don't want to go yet to the complete end because I'm going to need to grab some handles. But when we drag this to the end, we want to go ahead and double the scale. So what's this doing? Well, this is just zooming in faster. So you can see it's going to go a lot faster and zoom in. Now, we're going to do a little bit of keyframe work as well. So I want you to highlight both clips holding your Shift key, right click, and do Easy Ease In. Then open the drop down for the scale. And it's so hard to see, but there's this little invisible, almost black line. I want you to just drag that down. We only need to focus on this first curve. So with the eases, we now have handles. And if we click on the handles, we can go ahead and make some handle adjustments. So I'm going to really ramp this up. I want this to go relatively easy and then really pop into that final look. And so let's take a look. It goes slow, and then you can see it speeds up there right at the end. Now, as I mentioned, we didn't move that clip because this handle would be really hard to grab otherwise. So that's why I kind of had you wait to move that clip there. And we'll make that down, and then we'll just nudge it over a couple frames just so it ends perfectly and there's no bounce back. Give that a watch. Oop, there you go. So already it looks really amazing, but let's continue this on to the next screen. Now, the next adjustment layer is going to be a little more complex. Here, you're going to need to duplicate some effects to really get your final result. And so at first, this duplication process is going to be a little confusing, but I promise you, once you do this and once you kind of get this kind of idea of what's happening here, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier. So we're going to start at the adjustment layer for this kind of ocean overhead shot. And this time we're going to look for the replicate. Now, replicate meaning we're going to kind of tile or replicate our elements. I'm going to take style, replicate, and drop it into my effects panel. And when we do that, you're going to see we have a replication and it tiles my images. So for this, I want 3 tiles. And this is going to all make sense in a second. But right now, if we zoom in on this, these are what are called seams. And we want to avoid those seams, so we need to mirror them out. I'm going to go ahead in my effects panel and look for the distort mirror. And I'm also going to drop that in. Now we're going to use this distort for the zoom in 4 different ways. I'm going to hit Control-C, Control-V a couple times to essentially have 4 versions of that mirror in there. And so why did I do that? Well, each of these is going to clean up one of the seams on the respective 4 sides of our image. On the very first side, we're going to focus on the mirror image of one of these elements on the left. All right, now that we have all of this and we have all our mirrors, let's go ahead and start. We're going to go ahead and type 90. And what 90 in the reflection angle for the first mirror is going to do is give us access to this bottom part. So you can see as I start to pull this, how do I know this is working? Well, I want to get a point where almost the edges are touching like this. And we almost have this like rectangle shape. Now, once I have that rectangle shape, I'm going to continue to drag that y-axis. And I want them to touch to be a perfect mirror. So in my case with this clip, this would be like 718, 719 pixels. It's up to you. You just want to kind of avoid having a seam in there. And this is starting to mirror all the sides. So that's our very first mirror. And as I mentioned, as you get going on this, this will make more sense. Now we're going to type -90. Essentially, we're going to do the same thing to the top. So again, we pulled up the bottom to mirror it. We're going to do the same thing up here. But this time we're going to just kind of pull up until you see them of this goo-like stretchiness. And we're going to pull that down. And in our case, that's going to be like, I don't know, 360, 361. That looks pretty good. We're trying to get rid of that line in between the 2 pieces. And this is working out great. For the third one, let's hit the left and the right. So we already dealt with the kind of horizontal up and top, bottom and top elements. So let's go ahead and type 180 within our scene and hit go. And you're going to be panicked because everything goes away. I promise you this is not a bad thing. And once you have 180, the trick is the more you drag this, see, it's going to come back out. So you want to drag it far enough to where you're getting essentially that square I talked about, that stretchy square. And in my case, that's going to be roughly around 640 pixels to completely close that square and center it up. For the final one, it's probably the easiest. What we're going to do is we're going to go to that mirror function, and my magic number here is 1280. You don't need to set the angle because it's already set that way. But once again, just to show you, it's just pulling these together. Now, this looks like complete nonsense, right? If we play this back, you're going to like, it's like a psychedelic trip, right? But what we're going to do now is add one of those transform properties again. So I'm going to go back to that transform and add that to the bottom of my layer stack here, or my effects stack. And I'm going to scroll all the way down. And now I'm going to scale this similarly to what I had in the first one. And so here, I'm going to set the scale, but I want to set this scale to 150 to start. So I'm going to type 150 and we're going to hit our scale. And once I have 150 in the queue, we're going to go up, and at the very end, we're going to double that. We're going to type 300. And then look at that. There's our image, right? So once again, you're going to type 150 for the first keyframe. You're going to go to the very end, and then you're going to set a keyframe for 300. And that's going to give you kind of, it's psychedelic at first, but we'll speed this up in post, that zoom in effect that we're looking for without the seams so much on the sides. Now we need to clean this up a little bit. We're going to just set essentially the opposite curve. So I'm going to grab both of my keyframes, right click, easy ease in. You could also right click again and easy ease out to make it a little easier. And we're going to drop down. We're going to grab that really hard to see black bar. And we're going to use the handles, but we're going to reverse the clip. So we're going to go up to the top, as you can see. And sometimes I like to move this keyframe in. And we're going to just adjust these handles to the best of our ability. We want this thing to kind of go really quick. So we want it to really quick. You can see, barely see all this stuff when it's played full speed. So now we have zoom in, zoom out. How cool is that? The last step for this, the easiest of the last steps is, and before I forget, I do want to move my keyframe all the way to the back. I want to make sure that's at the end of the clip there, just so it fully doesn't do any kind of weird transitions here. But I want to add one more adjustment layer. So go back to your project panel. Let's add that adjustment layer. Let's drag that adjustment layer onto the scene and close it. And for this adjustment layer, super simple, we're going to add a lens distortion. I'm going to do lens, and we're going to look for lens distortion, I should say, in our effects panel. There's lens distort. Don't confuse that with like lens flare. And I'm going to drag that in. This is looking pretty good. And I'm going to set a couple keyframes. So my keyframes are going to be very strategically placed, but essentially, long story short, we want to just affect the curvature. So I want to set a keyframe for my lens distort at 0. I want to set a keyframe in the exact middle. And right now I'm going to keep that at 0 just to show you. And then I want to set one at the very end of this clip, and we'll, you guessed it, set it to 0. Now I'm going to go back to that middle clip, and here's where you can distort this as much as you want. I'm going to go to, in my case, I don't know, like a -73. So with that keyframe highlighted, I'm going to type -73, and that's going to really bow it out. So you can see we're getting this great stretchiness that kind of hides some of that seam that we put in, but that seam is really important because some of this footage wouldn't have existed or made sense. And you guessed what we're going to probably do. You're going to open up your curves. You're going to hit all of those curves with a good easy ease in. And the next step is you're going to just start pulling these handles. So if I grab just the handle point here and I pull that up, we can do that. And then we can hold, we can pull that up. And then I can always pull this in, and this is just a little bit of fine tuning, by the way. You can always right click on the keyframe again and ease it if you need to. If you do an easy ease in, easy ease out, you're going to get control of these handles a little better. And I'm going to pull that in, and then there'll be independent. See how it's now independent from one another because I applied both those. I wish Premiere would add an easy ease to do that to both. But now we come in, we come out, and we have our effect, y'all. So the final things I would recommend, anytime you add a transform effect, you may want to look through that effect and go down here to the bottom and uncheck use composition shutter angle. I like to pull this up pretty intensely. That's going to give you a lot of really nice blur. Anytime on your transform, go all the way to the bottom, uncheck use composition shutter angle right here. Crank up the shutter angle to an ungodly speed, and you're going to get that kind of zoom blur effect. But there you have it all. We now have a lovely transition in Premiere Pro. And in a later video, I'm going to teach you how to build off of this same 3-layer adjustment layer structure and build things like pans and other transitions that essentially are very similar with the mirror and reflect method that can translate and pan and do some really great stuff. So go ahead and get to transitioning your videos and adding that little extra depth to your scenes. Thanks everybody, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.